literally don't remember life without Kibbee Jones. I literally don't remember. We've known each other since 3rd grade. For those that don't know, Kibbee and I are both only children. I've heard so many people say they didn't like growing up as an only child, including my wife. For me, I really didn't mind at all. I attribute that to Kibbee and all the awesome network of friends that we had growing up. Kibbee's the brother I never had. The great memories that I have hanging out with this guy would probably take all night to list. So I'll do the best I can. Some of the most fun and earliest memories were during the times we played Little League Baseball together. I think we were on probably 4 or 5 of the same teams, many of which were coached by my dad or his dad, or both of them together. Indians.
Oh yeah.
Indians.
Yeah. You doggy.
I used to love going over to their clubhouse growing up in Lake of the Woods. We'd go swimming, play ping pong, pool, basketball for hours. I can remember Kibbee's dad, Don Jelks, coming out to hang out with us and play basketball and stuff. We were like 12 years old, and he was a full-grown man. But he would play basketball against us like we were college players. No mercy. He would dunk on us and block all of our shots. But in hindsight, that probably made us better. Kibbee's always been one of the most athletic and competitive guys I've ever known. Obviously nowadays with volleyball, but back then it was everything from baseball, basketball, ping pong, poker, and even skateboarding. We went through a phase that probably every boy goes through at some point where skateboarding is the coolest thing on earth. And I remember Kibbee being really good. I was horrible. I was absolutely horrible. I couldn't even ollie. When I tried, I would have to try to ollie into the grass so the board wouldn't fly out from under my feet and I would land on my butt. But Kibbee was able to put a board on its side and he would ride up and ollie over it and just keep going like no big deal, and I always thought that was cool. I was always jealous. And that's the way it's been with, as far as sports go, for my whole life with Kibbee Jones. He's by far way more competitive, way more athletic, as you can see, as I've ever been. So, on the topic of sports and competitiveness, Kim is the most determined, intense, mentally strong, and competitive person I've ever met. Knowing how Kibbee's brain works probably as good as anyone, it doesn't surprise me that he was attracted to her for these reasons, and others as well. After talking to Kib at length about this, it's apparent that Kim inspires him to be a better person in so many ways, on and off the court. At the core, she helps him strive to be happy and do whatever it takes to get there, both in terms of career and personal life, no matter what anyone else's opinion may be. I love that. That's the way I try to live my life, and that's why I respect Kim more than anything. In addition to that, we all go through some turning points in our lives, and we struggle at times. My wife Katie was there for me years ago when I made a big change, and Kim was, and I know will continue to be there for Kibbee as long as they're together. And I think everyone needs that in their life. Everyone needs someone like that. So, back to fun memories. I have a long way to go to catch up to you. All right. Back to it. My first official first date was a double date with Kibbee and 2 beautiful young ladies in the 8th grade. We went to see Titanic.
Awesome movie.
Maybe the best movie of all time to this day.
I think it is, right?
Still the best movie.
I agree.
On to high school, we both had an awesome high school experience. It was almost like we went to 2 different high schools at the same time. We would each hang out with each other's high school friends, go to the beach, play poker, go to parties, concerts, sports events, and everything else that high school kids do. The same was true in college. He went to UNF and I went to FSU. but we would drive the 2.5 hours back and forth every month or two, I'd say, to get in trouble in Jacksonville and Tallahassee. I met some of my closest friends through Kibbee right here in this room, Kent and Lee down over there. The story of Kibbee and I's friendship is really a testament to the fact that distance and time do not matter when it all comes down to staying in touch with the closest people in your life. Since we were about 13, we went to different schools, lived in different cities, and over the years we've developed different interests, but nothing has ever stopped us, nor ever will stop us from being brothers. In a way, Kibbee kind of has a new best friend in Kim, but just so you know, you'll never get rid of me. I'm so happy you two met each other. It's obvious you two feed on each other's energy and balance each other out. It's a beautiful way, it's a beautiful thing to watch. I wish you both only the best for many years to come as you start your life together. That's all I got.
Cheers it. Cheers it.
I wish I didn't read it as much, but...
Pretty sure I know all of you, but just in case we're not familiar with each other, my name's Rachel. When Kim and I first met, she didn't remember me. But since then, we've been best friends for more than 10 years, and I've gotten to know her pretty well. Part 1, what I have come to know about Kim as a person. Kim has been my best friend since I was 15, and without her I would be much different. She's the kind of person, I'm gonna cry already, who helps you gradually and gently come out of your shell. She'll convince you to stay in the gym, hitting balls with her for 2 hours after practice is already over. She'll drive you to volleyball every day before you get your license, listening to you cry and giving you good advice. She'll be your roommate for 4 years or more. Avoid drinking to drive you home from a party. Play N64 Tetris with you until you beat her because she can't see. Turn off her car in the middle of I-94 so you can get snacks out of the trunk. And convince you to move to Florida. She will start out as just your pepper partner and develop into being one of the most important people in your life. Okay. More good stuff. Kim has the strongest will out of anyone I know. This is a woman who gets things done. She can get out of a speeding ticket and change her plane ticket at the last minute for no extra cost. She's an efficient procrastinator and expert multitasker. She'll consistently go out of her way for others, even when they don't know it. She's always thinking of the extra detail or how to help a friend. She's passionate, driven, and confident in who she is. Kim is superhuman to me, so who could ever be worthy enough for her? Part 2. Kibbee has dreadlock and how much I like him. I never really knew a true Floridian accent until I heard the phrase, "Yee doggy." Kim first told me about Kibbee as her new co-ed beach partner. My favorite phone call was the story of how they began dating. They had both been playing NVL and made it into the main draw. Apparently the new players would have to introduce themselves and say if they were single. When it was Kibbee's turn, he looked at Kim and said, "I'm taken if that's cool with you." Things were going well enough that I got to meet him a little while later on a volleyball road trip. Of course, he seemed pretty nice, but I wondered how they would cope with their obvious differences. He was a little bit older, was sporting a man bun, and honestly, I never heard the name Kibbee before. A quick side story. Speaking of the man bun, when our crew was playing Irma several years ago, Kim discovered that Kibbee was not taking very good care of his man bun. He either hadn't taken it out or hadn't brushed it in a long time, and he developed one dreadlock. Martin quickly volunteered to be the one to cut it out. Then Kibbee threw it at Kim and she screamed. We have a video of it. This is my favorite memory of the man bun. May it rest in peace. Okay, getting back to it, I think Kibbee grew on me pretty quickly. At volleyball tournaments, you could see that everyone knew him and he was really easy to talk to. He seemed very positive and relaxed and would get extra excited about simple things that are easily taken for granted. He asked very thoughtful questions with genuine interest. My favorite was that when he was really happy, he would sing parts of his sentences instead of talking them. I always knew when he was around because of the absurd amounts of peanut butter and bananas on the kitchen counter. Once I moved down here for good, I could tell Kim was giggling more often in a way I hadn't heard before, and it seemed like Kibbee was pretty giddy whenever he was in town. It was obvious that they behaved the way two people in love did, inseparable and always thinking of each other. Their love spread from Jacksonville to Tampa until Kibbee proposed in Hawaii so we could celebrate them together today. Part 3, why it works. Kim and Kibbee. Obviously no couple is perfect, and most of the time I think it's true that people don't change. However, I feel it's a huge testimony to the depth of your love for each other that you have both changed and grown throughout your relationship. You confront your challenges together, maintain openness and honesty, and adapt without compromising your love and respect for one another. As your relationship grows, it's been really special to see the ways that you've come to complement and highlight the best of each other. What I like most about you, Kibbee, is that you support the parts of Kim that are strong-willed without stepping aside. When Kim may seem frustrated or off, you tend to lean in and try to lighten the situation, offer a solution, or communicate that you're listening. You give her what she needs. You let her know that you're there to support her, and you aren't going anywhere. I think you're positive, relaxed, and goal-oriented, and I could not be happier to share Kim with anybody else. And I mean what I said before Kim, that I feel like you giggle in a way now that I haven't heard often before Kibbee. There have been some tough times with exes in the past requiring late night brownies and some tears, but there was one day when we were at a club tournament and you and Kibbee were telling jokes and cuddling a little bit, and I heard you giggling this way, and I thought to myself, like, whoa, that is a Kim happiness level that I have never seen before. And ever since then, I see that happiness and love more and more often. I'm so happy for both of you and the love that you share, and to be a part of your lives and have you as best friends. You've already started your togetherness, but now it's official and anew. Part 4. No one except Kim expected a poem at the start. But this may still be a little bit unexpected. Love poems and quoting famous people is really cheesy in general, and usually I hate it. But this one seemed to pinpoint the love shared by this new family and all the points that I just brought up. Similar to this poem are my hopes for you two for the future. I hope that as you accept change in each other, your love remains unchanged. I hope your love and commitment to one another remain your guiding light through the toughest storms. I hope that as you grow old together, your love matures and you find it's just as strong then as it is on this day. Sonnet 116 by William Shakespeare. I didn't write this one. Let me not, to the marriage of true minds, admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. We could toast now to Kim and Kim for their forever love. Love you guys.
So I'm gonna pause for a second to make him really nervous. But for real, Kibbee is like one of the best people you can ever meet in life. Like I don't feel like often, like I have best friends from growing up that are like to this day are like the best people in my life. And when I moved to Jacksonville and I met Kibbee, it was just like right off the bat, like awesome person, do anything for you, just super great. And I don't know, it's awesome to have somebody like that in your life, and super happy you met Kim, and I don't know if she knows how lucky she is, but there's times that where I thought maybe I would marry Kibbee, but obviously that can't happen now, so cheers.